what do you think about the new J.J. Abrams Star Trek?
I have mixed feelings. On the one hand, it's not as emotionally deep, or I guess socially aware,
or intellectual,
as the original. But I do like a lot of the character interactions, and I like the way that it plays into the old continuity and yet establishes a new continuity. I've got some pretty high hopes for the coming movie. I really like Cumberbatch, and I'm hoping he does a good job as Khan. So I'm hopeful.
Okay, so it's official. The new villain is Khan.
Yes, as far as I can tell. I think IMDb also.
So this is Rafficon 2.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm praying that Spock is okay.
I mean, that was the criticism with Nemesis. A lot of people were saying that it ripped off Rafficon, and now they're doing it again.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is sort of a reboot in its own way, and I do like that it's introducing new fans to the series. So, I mean, definitely some pluses there, despite my criticisms.
All right, and what about you? Does it say the same thing about you? What do you think of the Abrams Star Trek?
It's certainly a mixed bag. I like the action. It's a great action movie. It also has some really funny moments that are very solid. And I love new Spock. I love how flawed he is and how deeply conflicted. That's fun.
Well, I mean, Spock was a flawed character to begin with, I think, but I had a problem with him hooking up with her. That didn't seem like Spock to me.
Oh, I think that's cute.
Oh,
it's cute, but and to me, my honest opinion, and I'm saying this to both of you, is I feel like the new Star Trek is like a dumbed down action film. It's not as intellectual. It seems very militaristic.
It's not as deep, but I think it might get more depth as the franchise continues. It might be a growing pains issue, because if you look at the first couple episodes of the original series, they certainly weren't as good as the later ones either.
Well, I'll give you an example, the whole thing with Kirk killing a defenseless ship. That to me seems heartless. Spock leaving Captain Kirk on an ice planet to die, presumably. I mean, he didn't know if he could take care of himself or not, which just seemed kind of cruel and heartless, and it goes against the whole Federation philosophy that Gene Roddenberry had.
It certainly does, and that's what I was saying about how flawed Spock is. I feel like old Spock was more like the Vulcan side of Spock, and new Spock is more sort of a
human side.
He has out of control human movements, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you concur.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think I agree.
But and your favorite Star Trek series was?
Next Generation.
Mine's Voyager, actually.
Voyager? I like both. I love Voyager. I even loved Enterprise. At least it was still Star Trek. My
Enterprise
personal
had potential. I was sad that they canceled it, actually, because the temporal Cold War thing I liked that.
It never got resolved, and then there was the mysterious time traveler guy that was
the super far future thing. That was awesome.
But they never identified. There was a loose plot thread, which I wish they had done in the last episode. They never revealed who the future guy was.
It would be nice. Well, for sure, my very favorite Star Trek thing is the Borg.
The Borg.
And so that's why Voyager is my favorite series, is because they got so deep into the Borg.
Yeah, there was the most amount of Borg episodes were on Voyager.
Mm-hmm. And I liked the relationship between the Queen and Janeway in particular. That was good.
No, it was good, and I liked the last episode where she had a future Janeway.
That was fantastic.
And so what did you agree with that with the Borg? Is that your favorite Star Trek villain?
I think one of the reasons I'm so into, Next Generation is that I really like the Q, and also that I grew up with it. So it's a mixture of nostalgic for me, and as we were preparing to do these costumes, I started to rewatch it as well, and they're just so interesting. They're kind of cheeky little guys. I don't know.
I love the Q. That's another favorite villain of Next Generation. I always said that what they needed to do instead of doing a reboot, they should have done a Q movie, and they should have done another Borg movie. The Borg were such an interesting villain. I mean, I remember people saying, "Well, they already did a Borg movie," but they had more than one movie with Klingons in it.
True. And the Borg are just so scary. I feel like, as far as believable villains go, that we don't really identify with so much. When I see the Q, their kind of playfulness, that's something that I like and enjoy watching, but when I think of the Borg, if that was a reality, I get a little nervous.
That's what makes them the ultimate villain.
Exactly.
They're like sci-fi zombies.
So you could do a ton of movies with that. I definitely feel you there.
I thought they should have done a multi-generational movie with like cast from Voyager. They should have done a movie with cast from Deep Space Nine, but combined it with Next Generation cast, and it could have made a very
You mean
intense,
like Star Trek Generations, but with newer casts?
like Star Trek Generations, but with newer cast. But
Well, people say that The Wrath of Khan is the best Star Trek movie, but I agree with what you said about there being potential for another Borg movie. And my favorite Star Trek movie is First Contact.
mine is First Contact as well. What's your favorite Star Trek movie?
Khan, I mean,
Wrath of
I'm
Khan?
sorry. I just love it. And it really touched me.